Hi all, today's lesson is going to be on resistance training. Before Christmas we had two lessons on interval training and continuous training. So this one's going to finish off the type 2 training methods and look at resistance. First thing I would like to do is recap, what does FIT mean? F-I-T-T. What I'd like you to do now is create a poster on your computer. It should take you about 15 minutes. I want you to identify what each of these letters mean, because it is an acronym. So what does each letter stand for, and what does it mean when we use these terms? So F-I-T-T. You have 15 minutes to create this poster. Pause the video and create your poster. In your poster, you should have had frequency, intensity, time, and type. This is what FIT stands for. Frequency, how often you do it. The intensity is how hard you're working while you're doing that exercise. The time, the length of time spent doing the exercise, and the type of training that you're doing. So, resistance training. Resistance training is where a muscle will only improve in strength and size when it is forced to operate beyond its normal intensity. We call this overload. So if we're doing an activity where our muscles are not under any strain or not under any stress, they will not improve. We need to apply an overload to that muscle. This overload can be done by adding resistance, so maybe increasing the amount of weight that you're going to lift, increasing or decreasing the number of repetitions with a particular weight, and changing the number of sets that we do of that exercise. Here is Arnold Schwarzenegger, who really made resistance training quite popular and quite the norm. Before he came along, it was quite a weird thing to be doing, and when he went from bodybuilding into movies, he sort of made it popular to be going to the gym and using weights. Now every single gym you go to has a free weight section, which is the core method of resistance training. So different strength types and how to train them. Most sports will require some or all of these types of strength, and we can use our training methods to vary the types of strength that we're working on. The first one I'm going to look at is strength endurance. Now this is where we aim to develop muscles that are able to produce repeated contractions over and over and over again while they're quite tired. So to do this, we would work the muscles by having high repetitions, so ending over 15 repetitions with quite a light loading. So 30 to 50% of your 1 rep max. 1 RM stands for 1 repetition max, and that is the most amount of weight you can lift with just 1 rep. Okay, so the most weight you can lift with 1 rep. And when we're doing strength endurance, about 30% of that number would be what we use for endurance. Okay, so for example, if I was able to lift 100 kilos, I would lift 30 kilos for anything between 15 and 20 repetitions to work my strength endurance. So the key bit of information here is the repetitions and quite with light weights. Okay. So here is an example of strength endurance. Sophie Hosking and Katrin Copeland, okay, 2 Olympic gold medalists, being able to recreate that rowing motion over and over and over again, even though the body is starting to get quite tired, and still be able to reproduce that motion at maximum force, even though it's coming towards the end of the race and the bodies are getting quite tired. Power. So power is the aim to develop fast, powerful movements. Okay, and to train this, we need a medium number of repetitions, so anything between 6 and 10 reps, and a medium to heavy loading, so around 70 to 80% of a 1 rep max, with a maximum contraction. Okay, when I talk about that, I mean that when we're contracting in the contraction phase, we contract as hard and quickly as possible. Okay, so key information here is that we're doing 6 to 10 reps, and we are using medium to heavy loading, so about 78% of a 1 rep max. Okay, and done to a maximum contraction. So when we're pushing the weight, we're pushing as hard as we can, and then slowly letting it back down. And we contract as hard as we can, slowly let it back to start position. A prime example of this would be Usain Bolt. Okay, the amount of power that sprinters can produce is phenomenal. If you have a look at their arms in that picture there, they'll be able to generate power through the muscles in the arms, the legs, and the whole body is designed to generate power. Next is maximum strength. So this is where we try and enable our body to lift the most amount of weight possible. Okay, put the maximum loads on it. To train this, we would have a very low number of repetitions, so usually somewhere around 1 to 5, with very heavy loads of 80 to 100% of 1 rep max. So obviously 100% would be your 1 rep max, but it can be anywhere in between these two numbers, 80 to 100%. But it's very heavy weights with very low repetitions. Okay, 1 to 5. An example of this is stuff like the world's strongest men. So that was Magnuson doing a deadlift on 1,100 pounds, which is a phenomenal amount of weight to be moving. However, if you have a look at his body, there's not a lot of definition there. Okay, but he is able to move an incredible amount of weights in for quite a low number of reps. The last one is size with strength. So the aim is to increase the muscle size and the strength at the same time. Okay. To do this, we need to have a medium to high number of repetitions, normally 8 to 12, and have a medium to heavy loading, 70 to 80% of the one rep max. Okay, this is the most commonly used training method. 10 reps at quite a medium to heavy loading. Okay, this is the most commonly used ones. This will give definition to the muscles, it'll give size, but also have the functionality of giving great strength as well. So an example of this would be a running back in the NFL. Okay, these guys need to be very fast, very strong, but also need to be big so they're not getting pushed around the place as well. Okay, so they have a good combination of strength and size. Okay, but also not too much that they are immobile. Okay, so training when we train our muscles, we do actually have an order in which we will train them in. So the first one that we will look at working is going to be the glutes. Okay, this is because this is the largest muscle in our body. Okay, so we want to work that first. Okay, so we're going to work from the largest muscles to the smallest. Okay, for the most part. There is an exception which I'll go into later on. Okay, next is going to be the second, well, it's the largest muscle group, which is going to be the quadriceps. Okay, they're going to be 2, and the hamstrings come in third. Next, we look at another huge muscle area, which is our back, and that's going to be number 4. We're on there. Then we're on the chest, or pectorals, and that is number 5. Shoulders then come in at number 6. Our gastrocnemius, or calf muscles, come in at 7. Biceps come in at 8. Triceps come in at 9. Forearms come in at 10. And finally, finish off, we use the core. Okay, and that is 11. Okay, now the core is not the smallest muscle. Okay, not by a long shot. However, the core is a requirement for so many other activities. Okay, so we need a good strong core for a lot of other exercises. For example, if we're doing a squat, if we're doing a bench press, we need to have a good strong core to maintain posture and form so we don't end up injuring ourselves. So that's why we leave the core until last. Okay, because if we work our core at the beginning, it will be weakened, it will be tired, and we will then lose form in some of the other exercises and we won't be able to exercise to our full capacity. So leave the core to last. It's same with the arms. We leave the arms quite late on as well, because a lot of the other activities we'll be doing will be involved in the arms as well. So we'll be able to dual hit them as well. So here is a list of our muscles in order. Glutes, we start with number 1, 2, back is number 4, chest is 5, shoulders 6, calf or gastrocnemius is 7, biceps is 8, triceps 9, forearms are 10, and our core we leave to last because it's a requirement for so many other exercises. And finally, you're going to go and create your own plan now. Again, remember the order that we're going to look at: glutes, quadriceps, hamstrings, back, chest. It's the order we always work out in. And on the left here is how you are going to work on what you need. In your folders, you should have your analysis of what area you need to work on. It could be to create more power. It could be to strengthen endurance. It could be just you want to have more definition and size to your muscles. Okay, so you need to select what type of training method you want to use. And what exercises. Now there's handouts that you should have, which has a range of different exercises, about 101 in total, of all these different areas here that you can work on. Okay, and you should also have a blank training program, which will look like this. So this is the blank training program that you should have. In here you're going to put your exercise. So for legs it could be a squat. If I want to create size and strength, I might be doing something around 10 reps. I was going to be lifting quite a heavy weight, so it could be 80 kilos. If I look at bench press, it could be something similar. What you need to do now is you need to create your own plan based on what you need to work on. Just fill in this section here, and we will fill in the rest of this when we have a first go of our plan.